My fellow Americans, I humbly appear before you today to accept the nomination for Democratic candidate in this monumental election, so that I may serve you in putting forth my best efforts in encouraging a better future for all Americans, and in attempting the Herculean task of reuniting this fractured nation under one flag once more.
Coming for president, yeah! Reunite the country.
My party wants what is best for every man, woman, child, or other in this great country, in this room, not just for yourself, not just for your neighbors, but every soul in America. On the world stage, we're laughed at, we're mocked, because we've been fooling around with silly ideas for far too long. We need something to change, and I hope I can deliver that change to you. Poverty is out of control in this country. Homelessness is out of control in this country. The inflation is out of control in this country. Going to the grocery store used to cost $100 for a week. Now it costs you the price of rent just to feed your family. It's not in my America. It's not in our America. No. What I stand to propose is that we lower taxes on brackets below $200,000 of income every year, raise taxes on corporations who only stand to profit off of all of our suffering, raise taxes on those making over $2 million a year, and then redistribute this money to schools and to small communities who may need it more than Bill Gates in Beverly Hills. Another issue that many of you may know, going into the housing market, can't buy a house. There aren't anymore. Houses are a struggle right now. It's because of hedge funds like BlackRock and Vanguard buying up every single house that I can see. Nobody's living in them. They just want the market. It's harder for us, for the American people, to buy a house. I propose legislation that would restrict these companies' abilities to buy single-family homes. It makes no sense that we currently allow this, and it's destroying our unity as a people. Gun violence. I'm not going to stand here and take away your guns. No, that's unconstitutional, and frankly, I don't want it, neither do any of you. But what I will say is that America, unlike any other country, suffers great gun violence. School shootings and mass shootings are a uniquely American issue. In 2025 alone, there have been 47 school shootings. I don't believe any other country has had nearly as many in the past 10 years. What I propose is better background checks, better gun safety laws, better mental health assessments, and routine checks on how these guns are being stored. There's no justification for the senseless slaughter of millions of Americans. We need to make it safer for those around us. My next issue. Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2022, stripping women of the right to choose in many states across this great nation. After reading my feminist literature, I believe that that is a bad idea. Nothing good can come of taking away your freedoms in choosing whether or not you have a child. Worse yet, what happens to the child when they're unwanted? What happens to the child when a mother dies and the father leaves them because the father can't care for a child, he doesn't have the money? They go into the foster care system and they float around for the rest of their life. It's not an America we should be living in, not an America we should allow. Reading The New Menopause showed me this, and I hope many of you may check that book out too. New Menopause. Now, my next issue I would address is our history. Now, America has had a very spotty history, I will admit, and it does not bring me pride to say that there's nothing we can do to change that past. But many in this country wish to simply move on, to forget about what happened, and worse yet, to continue the strife. Gay marriage is under threat of being repealed just as Roe v. Wade was. I, as a president, would enshrine protections in the government, in the Constitution, assuming that is allowed by all of the states, though, if it isn't legislation to protect these rights. Though I hope that states would join their president in protecting our minorities around the country. On to our next issue. This one doesn't pride me at all. Medicare, Medicaid, and drug prices. In Australia, a vial of insulin can cost around $6.94. In the UK, it can cost around $7.52. And yet somehow, in America, it can cost $98.70 per vial. Insulin, which many of you know as a life-saving drug, it's millions across this country need it to live every single day. And for some reason, America imposes a 1,600% profit margin on insulin, which costs around $6 to produce. Drug prices should be lowered. I believe that Medicaid, Medicare should be reinforced so that our suffering and our ill across this country shall not die. I think that is an agreeable stance. I don't know why anyone would disagree. I don't know why people would think, I'm not part of the suffering, I'm not part of the needy, so I shouldn't help them, because one day you could be.
Lower those drug prices, Connor!
Now, on to my next point, one that I believe is shared with an opponent of mine, the environment. America does not float in space. We don't get metals and wood from thin air. We don't take our beauty from death and despair. No, we stand on the land that this country gives us every single day. And yet, some believe that unsustainable mining and harvesting practices should be enacted on our beautiful soil. Why shouldn't we not respect the resources nature has given us? I believe that one of the most critical things a president could do is strengthening the EPA and strengthening the protection of the environment. What other choice do we have? This is the only planet we possess. And finally, America on the global stage. In recent years, we have become a mockery, and I believe that needs to change. We need to reassert our influence, strengthen our figure in NATO and the UN, and we need to strengthen our assistance of foreign figures that need help, such as the Ukraine. I believe that a president needs to be a strong and imposing figure. That is why I stand before you today. I hope that when it comes time to cast your ballot, you will cast for Banks Sasson. But more than that, you'll cast for America.